Hello everyone, this is Cinema.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Detective, a modern crime board game from Portal Game and Ignacy Trzewiczek. This is a detective game.
Which you probably noticed.
Yeah, because it's called Detective. That would be like a big sign. If you don't understand this game about detectives when you see the box, maybe this game isn't for you. This game is about you being detectives, trying to solve different cases, 5 cases in the campaign with an overarching story to get to the conclusion of it all. This is going to be a spoiler-free review where we talk a bit about what we think about this game. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So let's get to the game. We're not going to do a rules breakthrough for this game. Breakdown for this game. Rules, blah, 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 for this game. So let's do a transition and get back to the gameplay. In Detective, you play as detectives trying to solve different murder cases. The way you do this is by reading cards. You get some leads. The leads get you to the card you have to read. You read that card. That card might get you to other cards, or it might tell you to go on the internet, because you have this thing called Antares, which is the big thing of this game. You have this Antares database where you have to put information in and it will give you information. It will give you pictures of people. It will give you questioning files. It will give you interviews. It will give you all different kind of information which integrates with the game. So this game is basically all about you read a card and you're probably going to sit like 20 minutes discussing what's happened on that card. You're going to go on the internet. You can even go and Google stuff you find in the game to see like, okay, how might this intertwine with the puzzle, with everything that's going on. And after you've been sitting there dragging the hair out of your head, see, I have no hair left, you are going to then draw another card and continue that until you have no more time left, because every time you draw a new lead card you spend time. If you have to move, because there's different locations, if you have to move, that costs time, and you don't have much time. You basically just have an X amount of days depending on the case you're playing, and when that time ends you have to go to the final report, answer some questions and see if you manage to solve the case.
Yeah, and you of course need some sleep too. Detectives are human beings, so you have like 8 hours per day.
Yes.
Unless you want to
work
overtime, and then you get really stressed, and that's bad.
And if you get too much stress, you will lose the case, or you won't get to do any more in the case, and all the stress tokens you have at the end of the game are worth negative points. Because as almost all of the board games in the world, this game is all about getting points.
Of course.
Unless it isn't, because it isn't. It's all about solving the case, and you get some points if you do it correctly.
Yeah.
So we are going to tell you about the gameplay of this game. We are trying to kind of put it into different brackets, but if they kind of mesh together, that's what we do here on Board Gaming Ramblings, but we're trying. With the things we want to talk about in this game, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. We want to talk about the technical stuff, how it's integrated with a website, with searching online and all of that. We want to talk about the story, because that's the most interesting and most important thing in any story-driven game, which this really, really is. It's basically story and almost nothing more. And then we want to talk about the replayability. There really isn't anyone, but maybe it's possible to get more of this game, hopefully, later on. And of course, in the end, we're going to do our final thoughts for this game. Yeah. So let's start quickly off with the technical app. It's not an app, but it's basically a website, kind of an app. Online. Before you start, just gonna say, like, you will make a login. I don't know if you knew that. You log into the site, you register, and it will save everything you do. What do you think about the integration of the technological and the gameplay?
I think it's really nice. If you would be a real-life detective, I know all about this because I've seen the movies.
Yes, we have seen many movies about
detectives
this.
Don't only have playing cards, they also have internet and a database. So this makes perfect sense, and I think it's really nice incorporated in the board game. It looks professional.
Yeah.
It looks secretive and agenty. Like
matrix numbers pouring down at the top.
Yeah, like imagine they do in real life because of the movies.
Yeah, like CSI and all this other stuff that's like really like real life.
Yeah.
That's where we get it
from. And also the small things that you can search for on the whole internet.
Yeah, like Google.
Yeah. So it's not mandatory in some of the cases to
No, you
have
don't.
access
You don't really have to search anything on the internet to play the game, but we recommend you do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I think it's really nice, and I think it's a nice touch to the game that you have to like switch from a card, and now we get more info on here. It could be a little bit confusing what's on the card and what's on the website, so you need to take some notes.
Yeah, this is a game all about note taking. But before we go to that, the story and the gameplay thing, I want to tell what I really like about this game is that when you look at a new card, that's usually you go to some place and this happens. You talk to that, and then you get a file or you get a new name you haven't heard before, and then you can put that into the database, and the database will get you information.
Yeah.
Like so, you really. That integration really works well. Like
Yeah.
it feels like you are a detective sitting in your office or on your Mac or on your phone and just searching stuff, looking at what's going on, and it's like, oh, this is cool. So you have to write that down and all that stuff. So yeah, I think the technical integration really works well.
Yeah. And the evidence matching is really cool.
It's
in
really,
the,
really cool, yeah.
In the website thingy, and you couldn't do that as neatly without the website integration.
No, that would be horrible. That would be like in
Yes.
Alchemist when somebody had to play the Codemaster.
Ouch.
Like that would be like that. Somebody would have to sit like with the answers. Like, okay, how about this? Does this match? That would be really horrible.
So this is really good with the website, yeah.
Yeah, it works really well and it really adds to the game. Not much more to say to that. It works flawlessly. It loads great. Like technical stuff, like the website looks great, as you said. We had no problems with it at all. Basically, it's just great.
Yeah.
Story is where this game is at, right?
Yeah.
There's five cases in this campaign. It's called Campaign 1, which makes me hope there's going to be a Campaign 2. Like, that's kind of a spoiler on how I feel about the game, because I want it to be more. But there's 5 cases. All the cases have an ending, so they have different kind of goals, what you want to accomplish. But all the cases are interlocked in one big campaign with an overarching meta plot, which they call it. So, what do you want to say about the story?
I think the story is really good. I think it's immersive. Both the single plots that you have to solve then and there, and also the overarching plot are really good thought out, and with the little fluff text here and there, because when you read a card, it's just not like you found this and this and that's interesting. It's you go there and police files are really horrible sorted, and you need to spend like 3 hours to find the files and then you eat a salad and a donut and you feel stressed about life. So yeah, I think those little touches and those little like information that you actually don't need, but it sets you in the mood, and it's uplifting for the story. And the story itself, it made us like get cold shivers down our back, because we really wanted to know what happened, and then we thought of one thing that we didn't know before, and we just remembered it, and yeah, it was cool.
So, what I want to say about this game, this is a complicated story.
Yeah.
This is a game like you really need to take notes. You really need to remember what happened. You really need to write down not everything, but like things you might think might be interesting. Write it down. We used like a big whiteboard thingy, and we put pictures up on there. We did it like you've seen the movies. You have pictures, you have lines with stuff like, who is this guy? What's happening here? And all that stuff. And it really adds to the immersiveness of the story. Story-wise, like, we're going to try, of course, no spoilers, but it's going to be the feelings of us about how the story is. So if you don't want to know how we feel about the story, don't watch the review. That's kind of late to say, but yeah. If you're like angry now, I'm sorry. But yeah, this story is, I think I'm gonna say that this is the best story I have ever experienced in a board game.
Yeah.
Like the thing that matches the most is Time Stories, which has the same kind of like, I turn over a card and be like, did that just happen? And as well here, but the overarching, the main plot, everything is connected, everything makes sense. This is an amazing story to follow. Like, everything is so much fun. We're just sitting there, like, we played this until the middle of the night because we just had to finish the last one. We were done with the 4th case. We're like, okay, it's almost midnight, but really we do have to continue because I
Yeah.
really want to find out what's happening next. And they really managed to mix it up. I'm not going to say anything about the cases, but they feel different enough so you can play
Yeah.
all of them in pretty short amount of time and you won't get bored. Both because the story is so good and also because the plot and everything, and you will be like, oh, this is that, we learn about that the other case, and you can take off the card that you read in that case and you will, oh, why did we write that down? We have to spend time finding that now, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, and so you don't misunderstand now. If the detective is eating a salad before an interview, that is not important. You don't
It
have
might
to.
be because you are healthy, but then afterwards you eat a pizza and a donut, which is not healthy for you.
Yeah, so and no, you don't need to note everything, and also when you have the cards in front of you and there's not lots of text.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the website is easy to navigate, so you don't have to like write all of it down. But especially to get an overview for like the events and who's related to whom and stuff, that's nice because that isn't very clear when you're looking at one card at a time.
So basically what we did, which I found out later, that you can actually purchase these cards with all the different persons you will find in the game to put up on a wall.
Yeah.
We didn't have that, but we did print them out and we did that as well. So I really recommend that.
Yeah, do
because
that.
you will get a much more fun, immersive way of playing the game. You will really understand who's connected to who. If you don't have somewhere a whiteboard or something to use, have a table, like use a table for it,
Yeah.
and then just you have to play the game all the way through in one go. But you will probably want to do that because this game is so much fun.
And anyways, almost I think what and how much you take notes of. There will be times when you are like, oh, that thing I read about that. I don't remember where.
Yes.
Where was that? And you have to go back and look for it, and that is cool too, because you feel
Yeah.
like an investigator.
Oh,
and
and
you
I find out.
We missed that.
Yeah.
really cool.
Like I'm trying to find something negative to say. Do you have anything negative to say, like about the story?
Oh, I really need to think a little bit
Because
more of
like
that.
this is like for me, I had so much fun playing this game. This is like, if you watch our videos, you know I don't really like co-op games, but I really like storytelling games, like time stories, like Gloomhaven, which is of course a huge heavy game as well. But I love experiences, stories, and this game, like if it had only been like one case, it would have been a good game. Like it would have been a cool game. But the thing that really makes this game stand out to me, which really makes the story good, is that it's connected.
Yeah.
Like if it hadn't been, like if it's been 5 singular cases, it would have been a good game.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting. It would be fun.
Yeah.
But the thing that makes this go over the top for me is that it's a campaign. Everything comes together. You can things you learn in the first thing will be important. Everything is important.
Yeah, and you feel like this is on the level of good TV shows or movies. You feel
Yes.
like this is equally and thoroughly thought through for it to make
Yeah.
sense, and you get the whole picture if you look for it the right way. If you're terrible at looking, you won't get the whole picture, of course. But
And you can't really, you don't have time to find
yeah,
out everything.
yeah.
You will feel so stressed about the time, which is one thing I really love. You have to think about all the things you should do. Like when you play Sherlock Holmes, you can just go anywhere you want. Maybe you get some deduction in points. But here you have to stop. You can't go any further. You have to think like, okay, should we really go and check that out? Because do you really think that's interesting? Do you really need that? Or do we have to check that out?
Yeah.
Because now we only have like 3 hours left and the case is down. We're probably just going to go follow one more lead before we have to stop. Which lead is that going to be? And I love that. And I love the fact that you have the overtime that you can use as resources. You only have this amount of overtime in each scenario. And wow, man, it's just good.
Yeah, I think this is combining like the story and the places you can go from. That's similar with Consulting Detective and Mythos, with a really like what do you call it? With the cards and the website, as we talked about this, and when you're reading the big book, you can stumble across some things that you're
Yeah.
not supposed to.
Biggest problem with Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, and this is so neatly done because you get the story and you get the immersiveness, and yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, all in all, like, this is a fantastic storytelling game.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I think this game had got really great reviews. I haven't watched any reviews because I tend to not watch reviews before I play the game and do my own review, because I will be like get many thoughts in my head. I think this game has gotten many great reviews, and I think it's been like a really hot game, and I hope they sell so many games of this, because I need a campaign number 2. I will say, like, the English is almost at all times good.
Yeah.
I think maybe, like, if you were if you had English as your mother language, you would probably find some things that we don't see,
Yeah.
like a couple of typos or a strange comma here and there, or like a strange sentence. But for us, almost all the time, I didn't really care about it,
Yeah.
because there's so small things, and there's so much text in the game, so it's hard to like get everything right, especially like it's a Polish game. Of course, they have help from translators and stuff like that, but I think this might be like Portal games for me has been like an up and down. I like some of the games really much, and some of the games I don't like too much, which I think is like pretty concise with what other people are saying. I think this is the best Portal games have ever done. Like Portal games, I think their like motto is games that tell stories, and this game really tells a story. This, I've said it a lot of times. I know people get kind of bored when I say I like a game many times, but when I get this excited about a game, I just have to tell you to that like 16,000 times. This game is fun. This game is horrible. Like, you will feel horrible. This game has an amazing story that's intertwined, that everything feels so good thought through, and I love it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to the story before I'm saying this 16,000 more times? I'm sorry, because I get so excited. What do you want to say?
Yeah, because I think it's nice that you have you want to do it all.
Yeah.
You want to find out everything, but you can only go to these 5 locations now. So you have to like, okay, where do we think we're gonna get the most relevant information we need? And then you go somewhere, and it might be like 95% useless things that you already knew or wasn't relevant to the case, and you can follow down that rabbit hole, or you can like widen out and try to explore like many different arches at the same time.
Yeah.
And also, what I like about it is when you go on the right track for that plot, you would get like
A token, an authority
Yeah.
token, which I can use from different things in the game.
and that's a good sign, because then you know that we're doing something right for this scenario. But you can also get these is that a
Plot cards.
Yeah, plot cards that you
It's not a spoiler because it's in the rulebook.
Yeah, and it's a card that tells more about the overarching story that you that belongs to a specific case. So you don't get to read it now, but you get to read it later.
Yeah.
And that means that now you're not checking out the current case, but this will be useful for the overarching story. So I think that's really nice.
Okay, so should we do final thoughts?
Yeah.
You want to start?
No, you.
I'm gonna start.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to not say the things I already said 16,000 more times. First of all, I love this game, but this game is not gonna be for everybody. This is a long game. It takes like between 2.5 and 3.5 hours to play each scenario. We spent 14 hours playing the 5 scenarios, so that's like 3, 6, 9, 12. That's like 3 hours each scenario. It's really complicated. Like, if you want something that's lighter, if you want something that you don't have to rip your hair out, if you don't want to take a lot of notes, if you don't want all of that, this game is not for you. If you like that, if you want to solve puzzles, if you want to solve a crime that really feels like it could be real,
Yeah.
then this game is for you. There's a lot of work. Many people would probably feel that this game is work, because you have to do so much writing, you have to do so much thinking, organizing your thoughts, organizing the information you have. But I love that. I really love that in this game, and it makes me feel like I'm a detective. It makes me feel like I'm in this world. I'm trying to find out this case. I'm trying to solve the puzzle, solve the mystery. I love this game. If you think that sounds good, I think you will like this game. If you like more lighter games and you don't want a game that's this much work, I don't think you will like this game at all.
No, this is also person dependent.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't think it's such a hassle with the story and keeping track of all the elements in it, but we did, and that's not a negative thing. We
No.
really want
Yeah.
this complexness in our lives, I think. But yeah, it's something to think of if you're playing with some guys that haven't played that much board games, or
You don't need
aren't-
to play board games to play this game.
no, but you have to like
puzzle solving.
yeah, you have
Basically.
to consider who you're playing this with, because it takes brain capacity to
It
keep
does.
track of all of this.
A lot. So what are your final thoughts?
I really, 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 really like this game.
That's a lot of realists. That
Yeah.
means it's true.
Time Stories is, as you know, my number one favorite game.
One, that's a spoiler if you haven't seen the top 10. Do it!
I really like this kind of games. I like co-ops, I like problem solving, I like storytelling. And this is, as you said, one of the best board gaming story experiences I've ever had. And in story-wise also, really good story. So I really think it competes with the other really good storytelling games that we have, like
Yeah.
Time Stories and Mythos Wheels, that I also really adore. So yeah, big thumbs up for this game.
Absolutely. You get 2 thumbs up. This is a great game.
Yeah.
If anything we talked about sound fun, go buy it. If the things we talked about sound like work, I don't think you will like it. And that's the end of the review. I hope you enjoyed spending this time with us when we told you what we thought about this game. If you want to see more about us talking about games we like or don't like, please subscribe to our channel, because that means a lot. We like people watching the videos, and we are happy for every single person that clicks that surprise button.
Surprise.
It's not a surprise button. Nobody's right like, surprise! Subscribe button. That means a lot to us. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes, this is Sunniva, and you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.